Oh, I think you're on mute there, SC.
All right, can you guys hear me?
There we go.
All right, I'm glad we
Good.
got that technical difficulty out of the way. Everybody knows that follows the ninjas. Technical difficulties are just part of the show. So yeah, Swirly's already given us a hard time in chat. We just started telling us we're late. We are like right on time today. So good to see everybody. KO, how you doing over in Tennessee?
Doing great today, and just excited for Idan to come on. Thank you so much for your time today and coming to. Man, I had some crazy stuff, exciting stuff happen in Upland, and get some questions addressed. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. Happy to be here.
All right. So I know we got a lot of people in the chat from all over the place. I think Idan, you're coming from West Coast, right?
Correct. Yes, I'm in Mountain View, California. Yeah.
Awesome. We got people coming in from all over the place. Alaska, or Australia, San Francisco. Man, look at this. Europe. We got people all over the place. All right. Well, man, we got so much to cover, and I know such little time with our busy schedules for everybody. So, KO, man, where do you want to start? What do we got for Idan?
Really fast, and I know that we have about 45 minutes or so, but we always ask every guest if you've ever trained in martial arts before. And if not, then like what would be like your favorite martial arts movie or character or something like that? So.
Oh, okay. So no, I've not trained in martial arts, as you can see by my physique. But I would give an unorthodox answer for like the martial arts movie, which is definitely not a martial arts movie, but one of my favorite directors in all time. So Kill Bill, I think is
Nice.
my favorite. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a great choice. I love that movie. That's really good.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into it. I know we got a ton of questions from the community, and I know some questions will be coming in here from chat. I don't know. Do you want to start with like maybe just a quick overview, of the announcement yesterday, kind of, quick, and then we can kind of dive deeper from there, with Upland moving to its own app chain.
Yeah, and maybe that's a good segue to give a shout out to the team for executing something. Again, this is not a straightforward move, and I believe even though we had a significant maintenance downtime for the app, I think predominantly all players did not even notice maybe that that change has occurred, and that was always kind of like one of the main thing for us to achieve, basically. Making this as transparent as possible for the community, and ensuring that Upland kind of like rolls on exactly the same as it did before that. So shout out to the team, great job, you guys, and we really appreciate also the community, because I think judging again, our community team may be a better testament to that, but I think in general the community got it. So they there's a general understanding of why this happened. And I think actually we may have seen also some excitement in the community, which is good, I think.
I've been keeping quite a close eye on chat and Discord and stuff, and I would say overwhelmingly positive. A few negative Nancy's out there, but overall I've just seen nothing but positive stuff, and I took it in a very positive way too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
I think the main thing. Sorry, we have a bit of a delay here, so maybe we're going to be overstepping each other. But I think like one of the main things to keep in mind, I think, as we look at this, this is an intermediary step to a future that is still wide open in kind of like how we author it, right? So this is not necessarily the end game. It could turn into an end game in one of the scenarios, and I'm happy to kind of like cover all these different scenarios that we kind of like plotted out with the announcement, and kind of like deep dive into each one of them and what does that look like. But this is kind of like a first step in a series of steps that will come in the future that is not necessarily deterministic. So the next steps could be plotted together with the community. It could be plotted with different opportunities that come up. So again, I think it's a necessary next step. It's a good next step, but it's definitely not the last step. So this is not the end game.
Awesome. So we have all different levels of uh, technically or technicals savvy people here. So can we start with just starting with like a basic explanation of what moving to an app chain would mean for Upland?
I mean, there's a lot underneath there, because it has a lot of it has a lot of meanings. But maybe let's start with kind of like the explanation of what technically happened. So what happened would technically qualify as basically a hard fork of the EOS mainnet into a dedicated layer one blockchain that is now dedicated to Upland. Uh, Only the information that was relevant for Upland was basically forked. So now basically you can imagine a subset of what used to be the EOS mainnet that is now contains data like Upland NFTs, all the properties, all the marketplaces, all the user identities together with their credentials and everything. All of that now running as a separate instance serving the Upland platform. So this is what technically happened. And basically, Upland as a platform just basically, okay, so one element was to actually perform that technical fork, establish the new layer one chain. And then the next obvious step was basically to take Upland and point all of the platforms, let's call it endpoints, to work with the new chain instead of the EOS main. So this was basically a technical explanation of what happened. Now, again, one very important and obvious issue is the question, okay, now, so who now controls the block producing nodes for this new chain? And the answer to that is right now, Upland, the company, so us, Upland Me Inc., is the entity that controls these nodes, which what makes this chain temporarily a centralized chain, meaning that kind of like Upland, the operator of the game, is also controlling the blockchain. And again, just to emphasize, this is one step in between that would enable us to, open up a lot of possibilities in the future for how to, okay, take that current state and then achieve further decentralization down the road.
And you might have answered that in there, but so and we're not talking about Upland nodes for those watching. We're talking about blockchain nodes, if I'm correct. Um, in the beginning, Upland will be controlling the nodes. Do you see the community managing different nodes in the future?
Yeah, so that's again, that's a very important and kind of like question that has a lot of underlying elements in it. And I think you guys sent a brief overview of the questions that the community has posted, and I thought one of them was very interesting, which is can you demonstrate like an example of what this specific setup brings to us as a new opportunity? And I think this is a very important point that we can elaborate, and it does also connect to the question of the nodes. So again, when we look at decentralization, there is different various ways to achieve it. When we look at the crypto and blockchain space, the most common way to achieve decentralization of a layer one blockchain is by establishing independent nodes that, again, different algorithms have different setups. So we can have something like Ethereum, for example, which has thousands and thousands probably of nodes, each one kind of like validating transactions, versus, let's say, EOS, which is a delegated proof of stake algorithm. So you have much less block producing nodes and probably more than that, kind of like standby nodes, etc. So different algorithms have different systems, but the point is that there are different elements that are producing the nodes and maintaining basically the running of the layer one blockchain. So from that element, yes, there is absolutely an opportunity that perhaps the way for us to decentralize in the future would be to replace the block producing nodes that are currently owned by Upland Me Inc. with community run nodes. So there is that possibility. Now, for that to happen, obviously, there needs to be an incentive for the node producers. So the node producers need to be compensated because each person running a node, it could be hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a month in resources, depending on how high of a quality of a service you want to provide to the chain. So node producers need to be, block producers need to be compensated so they can actually maintain their activity. And again, This can be done in various ways. It could be done via a value carrying token, similar to how Ethereum does it with ETH, or kind of with mining ETH, or EOS does it with EOS for block producers. It could be done in other ways, right? So it's not necessarily means that you have to have a value bearing token in the layer one chain. So having all said all that, this is a very common, very known potential way of decentralizing. But I think another very interesting point is, and this is where the kind of like the examples of how this setup serves us comes in, because again, running a layer one blockchain that is decentralized is a very inefficient way. Okay, it's very decentralized, but not very efficient in terms of the kind of like the resources and the value it takes to maintain the chain. It's not the most effective way, right? When we went into basically a private layer one, where we control the nodes, suddenly all of the costs of maintaining the net decreased, in a very impressive rate. And this is part of the reason why we took that step, because that provides stability and kind of like sustainability for future growth scenarios for Upland. But now here comes the interesting part. So what if another way of decentralization was that Upland Me, let's say the company that runs Upland right now, basically still runs the game, still operates the game. But what if there was a DAO, so a distributed autonomous organization that represents the community, and now that entity actually runs the private chain? So what do we have with this scenario? So we have still a private chain, but a private chain that is owned by the community. Okay, and you achieve decentralization that way, not by having a lot of different independent nodes producing it, but you achieve decentralization because you separated the persisted data from the operator to the community. So this, for example, can be a much more, let's call it, efficient way, and very let's call it cost efficient way to achieve decentralization, that in a scenario that can be a lot more healthy to the future of the platform. So you achieve the same prospect, but using a different methodology. And again, now, having said all that, again, these two scenarios not necessarily mutually exclusive. There could be a hybrid combination where we kind of like try to achieve the best balance between let's call it the gradient of decentralization versus the gradient of sustainability, cost efficiency, etc. So again, all of these are super important elements, super important things to think about when we consider the future decentralization. But having established a dedicated layer one basically opens up all these opportunities to take the next steps.
Awesome.
So that's a mouthful. So I don't know if you have any questions about that.
Understand part of it. A lot of questions probably. So in a nutshell, like switching over from EOS, from a player perspective, like an everyday player, how will we notice it? Are we going to notice it at all? Is it going to be a seamless transfer? I know over pretty much like the last 2 months, I know there's been a lot of glitchiness in Upland, whether it be with racing or other entities. What is that, because there was testing going on? Were you guys testing two systems?
So again, to answer that specifically, I would have to know exactly which type of glitches we're talking about. But in most cases, I think for the past couple of years, we did not have issues that stemmed from the public blockchain that we were using. And I don't think, from a user experience, I don't think that will change a lot. I think when you look into the future, it does mean there is a significant difference, because I don't know if you guys have been long enough around, but in the past we've had issues where the general congestion of the public blockchain that stemmed from elements that were not Upland affected the kind of like the usability of the app and the user experience. So now kind of like this part of it has been eliminated, because again, as long as the layer one blockchain we've established stays dedicated to Upland, there won't be other games or platforms or dApps or anything competing for the same resources. So that's part of the upside. So while I don't think immediately players will notice any difference in performance, because pretty much it's the same type of infrastructure, albeit a bit more efficient. So there may be, let's say like this, any improvement in efficiency and performance will not probably be humanly noticeable by players, up until the point where a congestion would have happened on the public chain that would not happen kind of like in the private chain. So to answer your question, shortly, we do not expect any change in user experience immediately, but we think that's a more sustainable future for the prospect of having external elements affect user experience in Upland.
I know a few people had already said that they actually saw a difference on the iPhones where it wasn't crashing as much since the switch over. Would that have anything to do with it, or is it just
It
coincidental?
is it is possible. Again, I don't know. I don't have any data or any information that shows me that case. I can, again, the way that Upland works is that the Upland client, be it running on iPhone, on Android, or on the web, it communicates directly with the chain to push transactions. So the transactions that are being pushed are not going through Upland's servers. So from that perspective, there may be a difference because now, it may be the case that the infrastructure we use to run the private chain is a bit better than the ones that are publicly being run on EOS. I don't know that. So if I would have to theorize why that may be happening, maybe that's a theory. But again, I do not have the data to
Okay.
to actually pinpoint that.
Yeah, I think some of the common things that I seen coming up were like in the racing, like teleporting, and some of the cars like getting stuck together in the races. So those are some of the big things, and just a little bit more of like a transferring or moving of assets was a little bit slower the last couple months.
Yeah, so I would say for racing per se, when you're in the race itself, there are not going to be any transactions happening in the blockchain while the race is happening. So usually those transactions will happen either before or after the race. So I don't think like car collision, for example, would be something that is affected by which chain we're on.
We've got a few questions from chat that I think are good. Let's see. We'll go with Musita first. If the new chain is a fork of EOS, the systems that got their info from the EOS blockchain won't have to change their code? So, will we be reliant on EOS at all, basically?
So I heard two questions there, if I understood correctly. But again, like anything. So again, this is a hard fork of EOS. So basically, any systems that looked previously at the public blockchain, at the EOS mainnet, should be able to easily look the same way on our newly established chain, what we call the Upland ledger. So that shouldn't have any changes. I do know that there is, sorry for the techies out there, there is a small difference in the API version that is running, kind of like so. I think now our chain is running Hyperion API version 2 versus Hyperion API version 1 that was running on EOS. So again, there may be tiny things that people need to tweak when they look at our blockchain. But it's also important to understand that, again, most of the third-party developers that use Upland as a kind of like as a platform, they use our APIs and not query directly the blockchain. So our APIs have remained exactly the same. They just kind of like behind the scenes, they look at our private blockchain compared to kind of like the compared to the EOS mainnet. So anybody who built a third-party offering using the Upland APIs should not experience any difference. Anybody who has been looking at the blockchain would just need to change where their endpoints are looking at. They may also need to make various tweaks in order to support the different API versions. But predominantly that's it. Like the whole data structure, all of the transactions, all of the ways that we store NFTs, etc., has remained exactly the same. Nothing has changed.
Will it be easier to read? So like, let's say, like on our podcast, we do a lot of like giveaways. So we'll give away UPIX, different things like that. And when we send in-game player to player, will it be easier for us to access that information to see, what stuff we sent or if we didn't send something?
Absolutely. Again, it would be the same, I would say. What would be easier is that it probably would be more consistent infrastructure. So if previously so if you were not using the Upland APIs, but you were using a node on EOS to basically access the public data on the net, oftentimes these nodes would not be consistent. So sometimes they would be down. You'd have to switch providers. Some providers would pull out and stop providing that service. So I think from that perspective, the service would be much more stable. kind of like in this new dedicated app chain. But the kind of like the service it's providing on itself will stay the same. So you do have full transparency, full accessibility to the nodes through an API that would allow you to look at all the information on the chain.
Cool.
Got a really good question from Das Mustang in the chat. Will this chain be the potential standard for all OMA metaverses? Could Sandbox, Decentraland use the same chain one day?
Okay, can they theoretically? Sure. Do I see that happening? Probably not. I don't know. Again, like, so we've just taken the first step to establishing a dedicated app chain to Upland. Now, taking that and opening it up for a general purpose type of a chain, that's a very big decision. And again, this is not something that we're ready to make right now. Could that be theoretically a part of the future? I think so, yes. And again, especially as we establish more standard ways for the community to kind of like weigh in on decisions, that would be probably one type of decision that we would not want to make right now. So right now, again, first step is done. That those questions are super 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 interesting, but I think a bit premature. So I think as long as we keep the notion that the future is open for us to make these types of decisions. Again, the first step is about having this dedicated app chain to Upland.
With the actual chain, like I know EOS has the EOS token. Will Upland have that for the chain? Is it going to be Sparklet or is it going to be another token?
That's a great question. So first of all, the way that the chain works, the chain does have a native token to operate, but we have decided again, and I think we can go into the reasoning, but right now this is purely a system token that does not carry value and it is not tradable. Now, can it be the basis of a public chain in the future? Absolutely, it can. But this was not part of what we were trying to achieve with this fork. So there was no thought about doing some kind of an ICO or some kind of like tradability. This was purely a move to establish kind of like the blockchain element that is dedicated to the Upland platform and to maintain all these options as possibilities for the future. In the future, could there be a value-bearing token as a way, for example, to compensate node producers? Yes, that possibility is wide open. Could it be maybe tradable in the future? Maybe. Again, it depends on a lot of decisions that happen down the road. But again, like you can understand that, for example, if it's the community that ends up owning the change in kind of like in the way that I've described one potential way of decentralizing, right? So then if that's the scenario we're going for, then the community would basically be the owner of that token. So that would be kind of like the treasury of the DAO. Again, one possible way to do that. So again, there's a lot of interesting elements in here that need to fall in place for the end game solution. But again, each one of them looks a bit different, and some of them may include the value bearing token for the chain.
Nice. Another question in chat on kind of on that topic is what is there a technical reason like why it wouldn't be Sparklet as the native token, or
it could be. Again, it's so again, Sparklet currently is a utility token that serves Upland. It has very clear purposes and use cases. Now, you can theoretically merge two tokens into one and have multi type of utility for it. But it's not the only way to achieve it. So, for example, if we envision that maybe there's some kind of like, let's say we move forward with establishing the DAO, and now there needs to be a governance system for the DAO. So let's say there's a governance token. So there are two options for that. So it could be that Sparklet becomes that governance token if that's kind of like the path that we choose, or there could be a governance token established and dedicated for that utility for governing the DAO. But Sparklet and that governance token may be interchangeable at that point via liquidity pools. So basically, you can achieve the same kind of like aim that you have by still providing tokens that have explicit utilities for their tasks, right? So again, it's a complicated answer for the short answer being, it can be, but it can also be more targeted and appropriated types of tokens that are interchangeable with each other.
Awesome. And I see tons of questions in chat, and then my DMs got flooded as soon as people got wind of
Yeah.
this with trying to stay on topic with the announcement and the app chain. So because I know there's a lot of questions scattered all over the place. Is this change at on going to help layer 2 development? Because that's something that's been um, difficult, I know, for getting a successful layer 2 project. There's a few, and there's some awesome ones coming down the pipeline, but will this affect them at all?
Um, Again, I don't see it affect like whether the blockchain that is the underlying blockchain for as the layer one, whether it's EOS mainnet or the dedicated app chain that we launched, I don't see that as being any different for third party developers. uh, Nothing really has changed in that aspect.
Okay.
So I think the short answer is no. There is no difference.
Okay. Gotcha.
And again, keeping in mind that maybe a point to elaborate here, because it's something that is oftentimes missed by people because it's so easy to play Upland. So running a blockchain to give the value proposition of true ownership of digital assets, uh, it has costs, and Upland has been subsidizing. Upland, the company, Upland Me Inc., has been subsidizing these costs for the players. So every time you collect your yield, every time you make a transaction on the chain, every time you mint a new NFT in your factory, these have actual real costs that are being basically absorbed by Upland Me Inc. So from that, because it's so easy for people, because people don't have to pay for it themselves every time they perform a transaction, it kind of like becomes almost like a moot point in terms from the community. But this is a real game changer for us right now, because you know being able to use a dedicated app chain makes these costs significantly lower, which increases the sustainability and basically the scalability of Upland as a platform. And this goes for third-party developers as well, right? So again, when you kind of like create an app in Upland, and you rely on NFTs maybe that you produce in Upland, and you take Apex, and these are transactions, or you use Sparklet, etc. All of these things carry costs when operating on the chain. So this move actually supposedly takes down these costs, which should theoretically in the future make it even easier for developers to work with the Upland platform.
Nice. Um, let's see. Sorry, trying to keep up with chat. Um, let's see. Sorry, I lost my list. All right.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of questions out there.
I know there's so many. Let's see. All right, so I mean, do you have any concerns or slight negatives? I mean, I see a lot of positives here, working towards being more decentralized, cutting down on costs and efficiency, being able to be more flexible with I think with what you guys are creating. Um, do you have any maybe not even concerns is the right word, but like, any uneasiness or things that still need to be figured out? What would be like the
No,
biggest obstacle moving forward, I guess?
again, I wouldn't even call it an obstacle. I think for all the reasons we talked about, this is a positive move. I think the
Hmm.
only again what we see as a potential reason of concern for our player base is that temporary centralization of or further centralization of power, right? And again, I think once you understand that this is a step that's done toward even potentially a more decentralized future, then I think those concerns can be alleviated, mitigated. But again, for us, it's very clear. Okay, so we are not, again, we're not concerned about that aspect as of now as operators, because I think we have demonstrated in the past probably 6 years that Upland has been running that, again, we do not abuse any centralized power that comes with our responsibilities. But again, if you take that as a temporary step that would make Upland even more decentralized, then I think that's something that is a very positive thing. Even from a technological perspective, again, at the end of the day, EOS IO is it's a mutable chain. Okay, it means that the data on the blockchain can be changed and transformed. Again, it's all a question at the end of the day of who is the owner of the contracts, who is the owner of the chain. And I think this supposedly step backwards, opens up steps forward that could result in a much more decentralized way that Upland run. Because if the community ends up being the absolute authority in the persistency of the data at the end of the day, and this could be just one element out of many others, and we can spend a lot of time talking about what full decentralization potentially looks like, because there's a lot of different elements in it. It's not just the blockchain. So we're talking about the blockchain, we're talking about the Upland smart contracts themselves, we're talking about the code base, right? Like, who owns the code base for Upland at the end of the day? We're talking about things like Upland IP, who owns the domains, who owns the trademarks, who owns Miles the Llama, right? So all of these are elements that are together. When together, they make up the gradient between full centralization and full decentralization. And I think the most important thing is that being able to keep the vision of that all the elements that currently make up the Upland platforms, that they allow for any point in that gradient, hopefully more and more towards the point of decentralization.
Yeah, is that the eventual goal? Is because we talked about moving towards decentralization in stages, right? And which I think is a great idea to do it um, in a slow process. That my personal opinion, but yeah, what does Upland? What is Upland's long-term vision for that? Do they want to be completely decentralized?
Yeah, so I think again, we've for years now we've talked about the concept of progressive decentralization. So whereas we, like, again, like, the question by itself poses some hardships, because the more you go into decentralization, the more that choice is a combined choice between the operator and the community, right? At some point, when you move to the gradient, it's no longer just the operator's choice to go fully decentralized or not, right? So the question by itself can be a bit tricky. But yes, we see ourselves, or we take upon ourselves the responsibility to put in the elements that would allow Upland as a platform to settle anywhere in between that gradient, in conjunction and together with the community. We think it's a much more responsible way, a way to achieve decentralization, because there's a lot of Web3 projects, and I don't know, I'm not naming names or anything, but you may even look at it as a standard in the industry, right? They start out fully decentralized. What happens is that the people that put the project together may walk away, either compensated or not compensated. And then what you end up more often than not is systems that are paralyzed, that can't proceed forward. There's nobody developing the platform, and kind of like you're stuck with some kind of a DAO that is unable to move forward and unable to build value for the ecosystem. If you look at Upland, I think right now we are in a very, very interesting state. So again, Upland has tens and tens of thousands of active players that are actually forming the actual community. And when you look at governance systems now, it even there are so many interesting things that can happen just because we have substance, we have the community, we have the the people that are engaged with it on a daily basis. And some of these people, they want to play Upland and they don't care about governance. They don't care about the macro decisions. They, I give, small may not come as a surprise, but a lot of community members may not care about whether it's decentralized or centralized, right? And but they're still Upland players. And there are some people that are absolutely 100% want to be part of that decision making process, and this is where that separation can come in. For example, if you want to be involved, in the future with a DAO, and help make the governance decisions, and maybe you're utilizing some kind of resource in order to achieve that, we still have a kind of like a very a matured ecosystem where I give you one example. You can have that body making the macro decisions. What are macro? I mean, this could be things like city openings. It could be things like what is the yield that we're doing. It could be things like how are we using the incentives part of Sparklet to award engagement. Right? These are all kind of like governance decisions. But then any decision made can be still ratified by Upland players using their existing governance system of voting inside the app. So this could be one example of how you kind of like even have decentralized platform that has separation, like that has branches basically, and has separation of power. So there are checks and balances for decisions that are being made. Right? We don't see that. I think this will be a very, very elaborate and innovative type of a governance system. And I think you can only achieve that once your ecosystem has been running long enough, once you have big enough of participants that can actually form these types of more complicated and sophisticated governance systems. And at the end of the day, that can change, that can basically affect the long-term sustainability of this type of decentralizations. Because the last thing you want to do is have somebody take over a DAO and then loot it or something or whatever. There has to be some kind of mechanisms that make sure that the overall good of the platform is maintained.
I think that answers. Well, I think it answers Swirly's question earlier. Like, how is Upland doing the DAO differently? Because a lot of DAOs have, I think, like 90% of DAOs have, failed or underperformed. So I've like taken this kind of slow, systematic approach. And on that and I know it's a really tough question. But what is Upland's timeline? Are they thinking 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5, 5 to 10? Is there uh, an idea of time that you guys are looking at?
So time for the next steps in decentralization, or
I guess actually both. Time for the next steps, and then maybe like what's the long-term vision towards, being
so
decentralized or
I think one of the very short term things that we would want to achieve, and definitely not 3 years, so definitely shorter term than that, is to establish kind of like an official um, representation for the community. And again, it could be done in various ways, but right now it can definitely not be the person who yells the most on Discord or something like that, right? So I think establishing some sort of a DAO, and again, DAOs can be just basically how you vote with a resource in a collective fashion. A DAO can also be a team that you actually set up to represent the community that is elected by the community. So basically, representation. Uh, this type of things, I think, would serve Upland really, really, really well. And it doesn't yet even have to tie to specific authorities or definitions or resources or treasuries, etc. Right? So I think like establishing, again, I always feel like the DAO is a bit too much of a technical term, right? But establishing an official voice of the community, sort of say,
yeah.
can be something that we may see kind of like in the short term. And then it becomes a question: okay, how do you start delegating more and more responsibilities and authorities to that type of an entity, right? That now becomes basically the official voice of the community. And now, okay, can we start delegating authority to that DAO slowly? And then at some point, again, if you look at the end result, right, like at some point, is it feasible that that voice of the community will have the authority maybe to replace the operator if they want to? Yeah, that could be super super interesting, because now the operator is held accountable to the community, right? So again, There's a lot of things that need to happen to get there, but it is a potential evolution of how decentralization may look like in Upland.
Nice, nice,
I know
nice.
with the excitement of, we just had the NFL football draft for all the people that are into like NFL, and we had the excitement and the drama and all the other stuff that goes along with it. What's going on with NFLPA legits? I know a lot of people are asking about NFLPA legits and where that's going.
Again, NFL. I mean, we've just had the was it fourth season or third season with the NFLPA legits. I think it was the fourth, probably, right? If you count.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, things are continuing as are. We have had different improvements, different competitions going on, different additions throughout the years. We introduced this year also the kind of like these cute collectibles for NFL players, which I think are awesome. I don't know, these are like awesome type of collectibles that you can actually win and trade and collect. So yeah, I mean, there's no official updates. I would say stay tuned towards the next season. And again, we can take, I mean, you can take NFLPA specifically, but Upland has a lot of other initiatives and brands and engagements. I saw some questions about XTEX as well. So again, if you want to broaden up the discussion, I'm not sure we're going to have that much time left to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of questions and little time, I know.
Yeah, we are running low on time. There's one question. It's a tough question. But for the community at least, what is Upland's stance on what is Upland's feelings on the market, the USD to UPX market has been on a steady decline. The Sparklet token is struggling here just a little bit. Well, so I don't know what is Upland's view on maybe those two markets, and you know I know a lot of the community are worried about them. So do you have any thoughts on that?
So you talk about Sparklet specifically.
Sparklet, and then so just the property USD to UPX, we're selling at 17, 18, 19% of mint, in Upland. So it's been on a decline, and people have been concerned. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up and get Upland's thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think from again from Sparklet perspective, I just can't comment on any price questions with Sparklet.
Yeah.
So again, I at the end of the day, I would look at Sparklet for its amazing utility and what's to come. Again, Sparklet is still a huge foundation of Upland, the platform, and how it goes. Again, I think you can't ask this, like, look at these questions without looking at the overall economic environment, and specifically how things are going with let's call it altcoins and web3 projects. I think the important thing to keep in mind with Upland is whether or not, again, we can be on a bull run, we could be on a bear run. The Upland community and engagement is real. And I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of other projects in the space. And I think that guarantees the longevity of everything that we are doing and trying to do. And again, things will go up, things will go down. That's the risk you run with having an open economy as opposed to like a closed economy, like 99.9% of other games in the world. But again, I think Upland's position is strong enough that it guarantees its future. So again, just taking a look at the participation, the activity, kind of like the excitement of the community. I think to me that's what stands out, and that's what keeps me excited every day for the future.
Well, and it is a real community. That's why I'm here. I love Upland, and then the community roped me in, and it was just everyone has just been super awesome. It's a strong community. It's also a passionate community, as you can, we got to talk to X1 a few weeks ago, and uh, you know, because people were upset and this and that, and it's because people love Upland and they love, they're passionate about it. So I think even the frustration, there's some silver lining. It's because we care. We
I
want
agree.
Upland to succeed, and
And again, that, the frustration is part of it, and even when things get a bit frustrating, I think we as a company always learn from these experiences, and we try to improve and make it better. But again, we always look at that as a sign. The fact that somebody cares about something so deeply, and that's multiplied by hundreds and thousands, then I think that part of the conviction that we have for why this is such a strong platform and community. So again, yeah, we're gonna have highs, we're gonna have lows, we're gonna have excitement, we're gonna have frustration, but it's better than having these things makes it real, right? So I would take that any day over indifference.
well, the ninjas are here to go along for the ride, so we're excited for it.
Amazing.
I know that's our time. SC, did you have anything to wrap up?
I did have one more question if we've got about maybe 3 minutes. It's probably a 35-minute question, but we'll go for it anyways. I know there's been some talks about Sandbox. What's going on with Sandbox? Is there something going on with Upland and Sandbox? I know there was something brought up in something I was listening to around Upland.
Yeah, so we're very close as companies. We are very much familiar and friends with the executive team of Sandbox. We have had a couple of partnerships in the past. We expect that these partnerships will materialize into more tangible, let's call it, things that you actually see in both worlds. The thing is, you need to understand that again, like we are going through a timing in the industry, I think, and in the world as well, where there are certain uncertainties going on in be it the financial markets or being how businesses perform, and that causes companies like Upland and Sandbox to focus on different things and be more diligent in kind of like where they put their resources and attention to. So that by itself may slow down some of the things that were previously discussed and announced, and I think that's natural. And if you look at our roadmap, it's enough to see that we are also even taking a look at different elements in the game and making sure are people using it, is this contributing to the platform, right? Is the cost of operating and maintaining these things, is it worth it for the community? And I think when companies become more and more focused, it just takes a bit more time to execute on longer term roadmap items. So I think that the partnership still exists. We are very, very good friends and partners with Sandbox. I mean, Sebastian is on Oma 3 together with Dirk. Oftentimes would have some kind of like joint either collaborations or appearances either via Oma 3 or in other kind of like events in the blockchain space. And we do believe that partnership will produce some more things that the communities are actually are able to experience in the future. So that partnership is still there. I think it may take a bit of time to actually see it mature into actual features and use cases.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, we've had just a great experience with Upland in general, and there's always ups and downs with everything we do. And at the end of the day, it's an awesome community, and it's a game. It is a game. So, one of the things I remember, this is back from like 2 years ago, Idan, you might remember this. If I can get this here on screen. Do you remember this little gadget?
I do remember it,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So at the first Genesis in Vegas that me and Ko got to go to and experience, we had our guitars autographed by Idan, and man, this was a great event. And being a business owner, I know you're always under the spotlight, with your peers and people that are with you within your organization. And it was really great to see you get out there and have the passion to play for the community. And I thought that was really awesome for you to step out there and, you're putting yourself out there in front of the whole community. And you guys did a great job. And it was a really great experience.
First of all, I appreciate it. That was just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and I think that was a great Genesis week. And I think in general, we can't wait for Genesis week to come back to in person. I think again, obviously, I've seen, there was a big debate about Genesis Week in person, not in person. It was an issue, and I think one of the things that maybe people may have missed is that, again, first of all, again, I saw like the weird narrative that like Upland is making money off that. No, we're not making money off of Genesis Week. This is actually, we're putting in a lot of effort, a lot of money, and a lot of attention from our side. But the thing is, again, going back to these financially uncertain times, it's not easy for us to get hundreds of people to travel into Vegas and make Genesis Week in person to what it is. And one of our main concerns was that we will not be able to bring in the same amount of people in person, just because of how much we know it's difficult for individuals to actually put in both the time away from work, the purchasing plane tickets, funding the whole thing. And one of the things we wanted to avoid was suddenly having a Genesis Week that has less attendance, or kind of like is not as great as the previous one. And these are like serious things you need to consider. By the way, we have seen that a lot of other companies that used to have in-person events skipped it for this year, probably for some of the same reasons. So again, we can't wait for Genesis Week to come back in person, and I'm 100% confident that it will.
Awesome.
Yeah, after well, personally being there twice and doing some simple math, I know that it was not a profitable event.
Yeah,
It was
we
for the
own
love.
companies and do that. We know how expensive it is, and you're giving back to the community.
Absolutely. So, well, Idan, thank you so much. This has been great. Really appreciate your time. I know you're busy and addressing the community. Um, hope we did we did our best, everybody. We're not the most tech savvy people, but we would try to listen to the community and get as many questions in the time frame as possible. So,
Cool. And I'd
yeah,
like
just
to open
again,
up, like, if anybody had a question about this move that we did that they didn't think they got an answer for, hit our community team on Discord. We will do everything we can to answer each and every one of you.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for taking some time out of your day to spend it with us. We really appreciate it, and I know how busy your schedule is and all the things that you have on your plate. So we really do appreciate it, and getting out here in front of the community and talking about different things that people had questions about. So I think we could probably go for the next week solid to answer all the questions. We had a lot of questions, but we tried to get to the first ones that were sent to us right away in between our classes and schedules. I know I actually just ran from a class into here. So we were, KO was trying to gather questions and get them ready for the show. And if you got them in early, you were lucky to get them all answered. And like Idan said, if you guys have, more questions, reach out to the community and get those to them.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys, for having me. It was a real pleasure, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
All right, Idan, have a great one, and thank you again for joining us. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, man, that was a treat, KO, to have Idan on, and a lot of fun, a lot of good questions, and man, there were so many great questions in chat, and I know we couldn't obviously get to all of them, but we did our best to get to as much as we could in the time that was given. So let's have a little bit of fun. So a lot of good information. You want to give away some stuff?
let's give away some stuff.
All right, let's do. I know we already have Rumble going on, so if you haven't got in the Rumble yet, hurry up and get in there. We'll give you a few seconds to get into the Discord, and we're going to be giving away a. KO, what are you giving away? I'm going to give away a DJ setup that I got from Funky Beat Shop. Really cool DJ set.
Oh, heck yeah. I've got 20,000 epics. So happy MFer if you're on the show. I know I won the Flip of the Week challenge. I only made like 20,000 epics on that trade. I think some other people actually did better in the flips. And so anyway, I'm going to take that 20,000 and pay it forward today. So 20,000 epics, and then Scory 23 has actually offered up a full set of carts as well. So we got three good prizes here.
Nice. All right, how many people have we got in that Rumble going on right now? I didn't get into the Rumble. Imagine that.
There's only 21 people in there, so if you're in the Hyde Park Ninjas Discord, you can join the Rumble. It's at the bottom of the Discord. You just click the 2 swords emojis to join the Rumble. It's free to enter. Yeah, there we go. We got a couple more coming in.
Nice.
Yeah, the boat cart city. Man, so I don't know. I got a lot of good answers today. There's still more questions. There's still a lot to figure out. And to be honest, I'm sure Upland still has a lot to figure out, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, they're innovating, and you know we're along for the ride. That means it's going to be a little bumpy here and there, but they're out there doing it. You know, like a lot of people are not out there doing it, so they're out there giving it their best shot. So, all right, we got a few more people. We got 26 people in the Rumble here.
I know I saw in chat a little bit earlier, didn't want to get off topic and wanted to obviously take the best advantage of the time we had with Idan, but a lot of people were asking about the sneakers. You probably saw them on KO's back wall there. And man, so when we went to Vegas, I guess it was the second year we hooked up with an Upland player that had a table next to us, was the Metaverser, and from the Upland Board Upland Club. And he made these amazing shoes for Hyde Park. And these things turned out amazing. So if you're looking for some, really cool shoes to be made, definitely reach out to him. Metaverser did a fantastic job. Super nice guy. And I actually didn't realize he did stuff like this the first year we met him in Vegas. And then the second year we got to talk to him a little bit more. And, I think he did a fantastic job. So TRS F1 Racing, Upland needs a whole new team. Yeah, you've been pretty negative the whole stream, buddy. I don't know. They're doing a lot of good things. And, I guess everybody puts a different spin on things. So focus on going forward. But anyways, that's for the shoes, man. Check out the Metaverse. So there's so many great people in the community doing different things. And man, it's been great to meet so many different people doing different things.
All right, so can I put a Discord invite?
You sure can.
In chat?
Yeah. Yeah, human. Right. Definitely reach out to Metaverser. He does a lot of other stuff too. We just happened to get the shoes done by him. But when we did the, what was the event? We did the Creedmoor event. The first year that we were in Upland, we did the car racing when it was still like AI. And man, the cars, they were just the S1Rs. And Metaverser made these amazing skins to go over the top of the cars. And I wish I had one at my fingertips. And I don't have one at my fingertips here. I'd put it on the screen. So they actually coated the S1R, and they had like it was a ninja coating, and it had like the Halloween decor and everything. And it was just an amazing skin that he made. And they actually did like a layer 2 skin over the top of the course too. And it had lights and Halloween decorations and everything else. So it was really cool, and it was a great time. And man, that was a great event. That was my first exposure to Upland, and the community did a great job giving back. And man, it was a good time. So.
Hey, while I've got everybody on stream, we're terrible at this. If you would give us a like and a subscribe, that would be fantastic. We do giveaways free in our Discord every single week with UFC pick'ems, NFL pick'ems, NCAA. We do Rumble giveaways. We give away. We do a stream every Sunday, and we give away all kinds of stuff. And we just hang out and have a good time. You can also follow our Hyde Park project with our comic book series and our card game series, all in the Discord. I put that link in the chat, the Discord link. So if you guys aren't following, jump in there, and it's a great community. And so would love to have you, and you can follow along and maybe win some stuff along the way. Lots of upicks, lots of map assets and carts and all kinds of fun stuff. So
Almost Human, you're killing me today. So I knew the shirt, taking off the shirts was going to come up in stream, and I gave KO and Idan strict orders that this was a family show. No shirts are coming off, because I knew that question was going to come up. But thanks for keeping it fun. It's always great to have you in chat.
Yeah, I know the tech crap was the tech crap was bores me. Yeah, I knew I tried to bounce back and forth between techie questions and big picture questions and stuff like that. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks, Puppet. Unprofessional Puppet. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was trying to keep a straight face sometimes with Idan. I was looking over at the chat and I
Yeah.
was like, I gotta be serious today, guys. I gotta be
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah.
My ADHD brain bounces around everywhere, so I was trying to really stay
Hey,
focused.
TRS, F1 racing fan, you're welcome to message us privately if you'd like to. I actually followed DJ Shorts early on, so I do know some of the stuff that went on. But anyways, if you have questions, don't feel, don't be afraid to hit us up in chat or anything like that. We're here to, spread knowledge about the community. So if you didn't learn anything from this stream, I apologize. Maybe you weren't listening for the right stuff. I'm not sure what to tell you.
All right. I should be able to get this rumble going. All right, if we do a spin wheel, it could get nuts. You want to try and do one?
Let's do one. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Let me see. Yeah, the spin wheel would be impossible today.
Well, wait, but you're saying you want to go for it?
The Rumble? No, we'll go with the Rumble.
Yeah, but we got 5 different prizes to give out.
Okay, we can do a spin wheel. Are you up for it?
All right, I'll work fast.
All right,
I'll work my fastest.
let's do it. All right.
We can do the rumble while we're doing that. So everybody do hashtag. Let's do hashtag Upland today. Big Upland Day.
All right.
I'm gonna post the Discord link again in case you're not in there. Thanks, Shaq.
Yeah, actually, we finally figured that out, Shaq, after a month of, because I got the new computer set up and everything, and then it was still happening, so we figured it wasn't the computer.
Oh, crap. That's what I thought.
What's that?
That's what I thought with the hashtag Upland. We got a bunch. All right.
All right. Do you want me to read them off to you?
No, that's gonna absolutely be painstaking for everybody.
Okay.
So we'll run the rumble, and then do the spin wheel right after.
All right. So the Rumble is running in the Discord, I believe.
Yeah, we got 40 people in there.
Nice.
Put the link up above. I can put the link one last time. Give everybody just like 1 more minute.
All right. So for the Rumble, do you want to give away the DJ stand for that one?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. So for the Rumble that's going on right now in the Hyde Park Ninja Discord, we will be giving away a really amazing, it's an asset made by Funky Beats, actually. Is like a DJ setup is really cool.
Nice. And wait, you still there, SC?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what we should do as well? That would help me a big time is run a kart race.
All right, we can do that. Kart race. Let's do it.
We'll run a race. I'll get the spin wheel.
You want me to run the race or?
I can get it. Well, actually, if you'll run it.
Okay, let me get into Upland. I'm actually not in it at the moment.
Yeah, they are awesome city. Man, that was just that was really cool. That was cool for us. I mean, that was kind of the first time we've had X1 and Idan on here, so it was really fun to get to chat with them. And it's tough. It is difficult to get all these questions answered, and filtering everything coming in. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun, and glad we could kind of bring that to the community as best as we could. In chat, what was your biggest takeaway today, in a positive or constructive way?
All right, I'm getting ready to set that up. Oh man, I didn't do my check-in yet. No way. I was up at like 5 o'clock. I don't know how that happened.
I did the treasure hunts for the gamified earnings. I actually got so I did like some standards. I got like 30 sparklet. I got like 2 or 3,000 epics. That in like 10 minutes. That was pretty cool. And then I actually did 3 competitive treasure hunts for the gamified earnings. I haven't done that in a year or two probably. Um, Someone gave me a good hint. I went to Bakersfield and there wasn't a lot of activity there, and I was able to win 3 chests pretty easily. Pretty
Oh,
easily.
nice. Bakersfield, you said?
Yes. What track you running? There was a track that we were going to run last week.
I'm not sure. I'm
Oh,
putting
oh,
it
the
up.
Jedi, though the Star Wars track that we did with Aqua Property on Sunday.
All right, let's see. We'll go create a race. There we go.
I really enjoyed Sunday's stream with Aqua Property.
I had a lot of fun
I
with
had a
that.
really
That was really cool. All right, here we go. All right, the kart race should now be up, guys. There we go. All right, the race is officially up, so you can jump in there if you want to race. And what's the prize for the race, Kale?
You know what? Let's do second and fourth place. We'll each win 5K.
Okay, so 5K for second and fourth place. Second and fourth, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we are, I think, full. We are full.
That was quick.
Wow, that was really quick, yeah.
Who we got in there?
All right, so we have got Kironikos, Joey Slitos, Just NFT3, City Pigeon, and Artie Pfeiffer.
Sweet. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to get this. So I got to screen share this. Let me see.
You gonna do that Star Wars track? Or which track?
No, I already had one picked.
Oh, gotcha.
I've got one of the ones over in Evergreen, actually.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
All right, let me get over here and see if I can actually screen share this now. Actually, Kale, I might need you to get in there and screen share.
Actually, I can do that.
Jump in as a spectator.
I should be able to do that. SC Kicker's course.
Yeah.
Have you guys started yet? Okay.
Not yet, yeah. But it's full, so you can't get in there and mess anything up.
And there we
Kale, you're robotic. Get that turn that button off.
Crap. Or-
All right.
No,
Did you turn your thing off?
I did.
Okay, perfect. There we go. All right. Okay, there we are. Let me get some of this
All
stuff off the screen here. Okay. All right. I think we are good to start. So we're going to get this race started up. Let me get my screen up so I can actually race. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got second place and fourth place. We'll be winning 5K UPIX. All right, here we go. Good luck, everybody.
Get our background music, I see. Can we bring that back?
I think we can do that. Yeah, good call.
I'm getting to the end of this list here.
Let's see.
Oh, a little loud.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Back to normal.
There we go.
All right, we're just waiting for this to... It's taking a while to load up, actually. All right, guys, don't forget, they have a really awesome show going on, City Pigeon and Ant-Man and Mass Chef on Saturdays. And they're doing a 75K giveaway this weekend, actually. So definitely get on there. They're going to be doing a racing of the SE. So if you have a truck, get out there and... Oh, sorry, City Pigeon, I just cut you off. Apologize. Never talk and drive. Yeah, but they're going to be giving away 75K UPIX on their stream. So get in there and race an SE. They do have to have 6 people racing. So somebody hunt down the big A. Get Abdullah out there to race. He's got most of the semis, I believe. Ooh, that was close. I almost hit a box. I love the new changes to the kart racing with the speed boosts and the obstacles with the boxes and stuff. Makes it a lot more fun. I remember just starting out with the kart races, it was like watching paint dry. And now it's just so much more exciting.
Let's see.
All right.
If you guys win today, and I don't know your Upland in-game name, a lot of you guys I know, but they got some new names in here. So make sure you join that Discord, and that way if you win, I can make sure I get you your prize in-game. Who's winning the race there?
Oh, I just hit a box. Not me. I was doing good until you asked. All right, let's see. We got Just NFT3 is in first place right now. Joey Slitos in second. Coronicus in third. I'm in fourth. City Pigeon chasing me down, though. That awesome looking New Orleans card. I love that. Artie Pfeiffer. Oh, Pigeon just passed me. Coming. All right, let's see.
We need that Mass Chef commentating, SC.
I
Where's
know.
that commentating voice?
I'm concentrating. I fell way behind. I got wiped out. I went from like third place to last place really quick.
All right, sweet. Okay, I got 54 names in. Phew.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that system working better. It's on the to-do list. We'll get there eventually.
Catching up on chat.
All
Let's
right,
see.
let's see.
Yeah, man, I think like having like 12 or 16 carts in a race would be sweet. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
All right, so second place is going to be Pigeon, and then Joey Slitos in fourth.
Nice.
All right, so make sure you guys put your in games in.
I got both of them.
If they're different, I think we have both of those though. Yeah, kind of familiar names there.
Awesome. Congrats there, guys. Oh, look at how close City and RDP were.
Yeah, that was really close.
And then even Joey and Just NFT3 were pretty darn close as well. All right, congrats everybody. Okay, I'm gonna start the rumble. We're gonna spin some wheels, give away some stuff.
All right.
All right, guys, the rumble is starting now.
Are we streaming that, or is that on Discord?
It's on Discord.
Okay.
Here, let's let that run while we spin the wheel. I've actually got to go at about 3 p.m.
Yeah, I've got to get back to classes myself.
I got a busy rest of the evening. All right, Discord is starting in 3, 2, 1. And this is for the Funky Beats map asset.
All right.
48 people in that one. That's awesome.
Nice.
And let's go to the spin wheel. Lots of questions came in today that I really did want to ask, but they just were off topic.
Yeah.
You know, so there's still a lot of things to, there's still a lot of things that Upland needs to work out, for sure. So, but I just didn't, I wanted to do my best to stay on track with the theme. All right, so let's spin this wheel. We're gonna give away. I'm giving away 20K Upix. I think Lightning Leg said he's gonna also give away 20K Upix. Scory 23 has a full set of carts. To give away as well. All right, so is that anything else? Is that everything?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's give this spin wheel a run. We're gonna do 20K Upix first, and then we'll do the full set of carts second, and then we'll do another 20K third.
All right.
Let me see if that rumble started. It's gonna take a minute for that to get. Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah, there's a few people in there, so.
All right, here we go. First, I'm going to shuffle this a few times. First wheel spin. Let's go. 20K Upix. Thank you everybody for tuning in and joining. And are you serious?
Laban.
Oh, that's hilarious. Maybe the luck is back, Laban. The luck is back. Been a little bit of a dry spell. All right, congrats, Laban, getting 20K Upix. Let's go ahead and spin for the full set of 5 Scory 23 carts. I've given Laban lots of Upix. Alex Hanavan.
All right. New name there, Alex. Alex, let us know your in-game name.
And that is for the full set of carts. So congratulations there. I'll have Scory 23 reach out to you. And let's do one more 20K. This will be from Lightning Leg. Oh, if Maui got that would be so funny. Look at City Pigeon. Congrats, City.
All right,
Pezman.
City
Oh,
Pigeon. Okay.
all right.
Nice.
Pezman, I know that name. I've seen you around. Awesome.
Usually we're seeing his back bumper, unfortunately.
And let's see who won the Rumble. Scory 23.
Oh.
Scory 23 won
Okay.
the Rumble.
All right, so Scory's getting the DJ set up.
You wanted the carts. All right, so Pezman, you can negotiate with City if you want. If you want to trade, you can take the Upix, and I can give City the carts. That is, I'll let you guys decide that. So if you'll just reach out to me, City, and let me know what you guys want to do. All right, I say, well, this was awesome. This was a great stream. We did our giveaways. We got 5K for City Pigeon, 5K for Joey Slithos. We've got 20K for Laban, 20K for Pezman, and a set of carts for City Pigeon. Anything else we got to do today?
I don't think so. Man, just thank you to everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate all the questions. I know, being in the community, sometimes there are some really hard questions and difficult ones. And as a community, we need to get them out. And, we appreciate, we're on the same side as everybody else in the community. We want everything to be just perfect. And unfortunately, I know it can't happen that way, but, hopefully the team can keep building and, I definitely have faith. I've seen, enough of Idan and the team and what they've done. And, I am happy with where it's going. There could always be things that are a little bit better. And at the end of the day, it's a game, and have fun with it. And man, just enjoy and enjoy the community more than anything. And that's what kept us around, was the community, meeting so many wonderful players, and, not only meeting them online, but, having the opportunity to travel and see people in Vegas and meet them, face to face and experience that. It's really been awesome. And I know there's going to be a lot more events, down the road, whether it's individual events that we may host, for meetups in this area. And, we look forward to seeing everybody and meeting other people at future events. So, but just keep up the positivity, and, we're here to help the community, and we're all here for the same goal in mind, hopefully.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. You guys are an awesome community. Appreciate the support. And I guess we'll catch you guys on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. And again, don't forget, reach out to, or not reach out, but kind of hook up on Upland, or what's the name of the show they've got going? City Pigeon. What's the name of the show you guys are running on Saturdays now with you and Mass Chef? I get them all confused.
On the track?
On the track, yeah. So I got on there last week. They were doing a bunch of racing. So if you get in there and you're racing, and they happen to stream it, if they pick that race, they're giving away all kinds of Upix for the different races. Doesn't even matter what kind of cars you race or anything. And then they're also doing right now, they're giving away 75,000 Upix. All you got to do is get out there with an SE and race. I know I got to participate in that last week. I was lucky enough to have a really cool friend that loaned me an SE, because I am not lucky enough to have one. And I got out there and raced. I think the most amount of racers we got was like 3 or 4. So if you can get 6 in that race, Mass Chef is giving away 75K Upix. That's pretty cool. So definitely get in there and take a shot in the dark and race and have some fun and experience that, and then earn a little bit of Upix too. So, and I think that's it. Sunday we'll have our regular stream. Are we doing 11 o'clock, KO? Regular time?
Yeah, that should work.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing everybody back on Sunday. So definitely hook up, and we'll be giving away some more Upix and cool prizes. So until then, everybody have a fantastic rest of the Tuesday.
Later, everybody.